Charlie, you know how to cure Rimlock, Charlie? Charlie knows. Alright, here's the story. These Mosin Nagants are becoming more and more popular. See a lot of people at the range with them. And a lot of people want to talk about this whole Rimlock problem. You know, the cartridges with the rims, loading them into stripper clips, have to load them in correctly. Listen, you load that stripper clip correctly, there's nothing that says if it knocks around in your pocket, in an ammo pouch, running around, who knows what you guys are up to. The rounds, they shift around inside of these things. I mean, even if you get these good arsenal marked old ones, you're still going to have issues. You're not just going to be able to have a cure-all where you're never going to encounter Rimlock. And even with a lot of these things, I notice, you know, you can't push the bolt forward. You seem like you're in a Rimlock situation. If you really give it a nice wallop, you know, you're going to skip that. Rim over the next one. You know what I mean? They're almost designed where you know, where they do that. I have an inkling that, you know, the Russians out on the battlefield never really had to worry about this much, because they would just be like, "I just give it," and they give it a whack, and that would be the end of that. I'm going to purposefully load this one wrong, and I'm going to put that rim behind the next, and I'm going to show you what my instant tactical cure for a Rimlock situation is. Yeah, I'm encountering it right now. I loaded it with the top rim behind the one underneath it, and I can't close the bolt. If this is like in the middle of a volley of fire, it's your third round, it's your second round, not going to make a difference. This is still going to work. Obviously, only the last round is the one where you're never going to have to worry about it, or if you're just literally loading one round at a time, you're not going to have that issue. But any other time, you could encounter this. And, you know, this could be the moment where you immediately need to get a shot off. And it's true, maybe whacking on it is not the best thing, because, you know, you 4 or 5 whacks on it, and you don't chamber the round, and you're dead. You know, so you'd really rather have something that works every time, like a tactical solution, something you'd train in a tactical class. If these rifles were state-of-the-art, and this is what, you know, they were using right now, they would train you in something like this. What you really need to do is relieve the pressure. No matter how much you push here or do anything, you're not going to be able to get that next round underneath the interrupter to be able to not have this issue going on. Actually, after the first round is chambered and you're involved in the magazine one round after another, you're really not going to have this issue, because the second round, not the one on top, but the one underneath, is always going to be covered by the interrupter if it's working properly. And if you load your rifle and look inside as you're chambering around, actually chamber around and just pull it out. Like, you know, close the bolt, pull the bolt back, let that round come out, take it out, and you'll see that the second round is way down there, and it's being held by a metal tang. That's the interrupter. And it's going to prevent, you know, the rims from catching on each other. See, Mosin was, you know, on top of this. But for some reason, when you first load the stripper clip is when you're going to have this issue, because the second round does not get caught under the interrupter at that time. And no matter how much you push, there isn't enough room in the magazines for the rounds to move down to get that second round under the interrupter. You know, Mosin might have wanted to just put maybe another 1/4 of an inch on the bottom here, and that wouldn't have been an issue. But as it sits like this, you're going to have that second round not under the interrupter when you first push in a stripper clip. So in other words, when you load the stripper clip, all you got to really worry about is that top round, and just make sure that that rim is in front of the one that's underneath it. After that, it doesn't really make a difference. You know what I mean? But if you encounter a problem like this, you would need to relieve the pressure of the round that's pushing up underneath this top one. And you could do that simply just by going like this. Just by dropping the magazine, well, that much, and then you could hold it with your hand like this. You'll immediately be able to chamber that round. So once again, I'm going to close this. And is it now underneath the interrupt? See, now it's caught by the interrupter. So we're going to have a problem. I'm going to have to completely unload. By doing that, you actually catch that second round underneath the interrupter. So let's take another magazine here. Oh, I'm sorry, stripper clip. Did I call that a magazine? Shame on me. Now I have that rim behind the one front underneath it. And we'll load it. theoretically. And once again, because that was behind the rim of the one underneath, I'm having the same issue. Now watch again. You relieve pressure by unclicking the magazine, chamber, and click back closed. That quick. And you could do this by, like the motion that you would have when you do this, if you're, say, standing and firing. The motion that you would have is, you're standing like this to fire, and now you're having the issue, right? You would release with this hand, you see? Use your palm right here that's sitting on the rifle just to hold it. And that if you just let go, you're going to dump 4 rounds on the ground. You don't want to do that. You just want to unclick it, and just by holding it about that far open with your palm, you're going to be able to chamber that round. Then, once you do, click the magazine closed again, and after you fire that round and you open up, you're gonna this is gonna be an issue. You may have that second round underneath the interrupter. You understand? So now, once that's ejected, it's not 100% that you're gonna chamber now and pick up a round. You may not, but by closing and then reopening, you're gonna release that second round from the interrupter. Do you understand? You might actually have to do, if you do have a rimlock situation and you use this trick and you close. Let me think now. No, actually, see, if you close the bolt on that top round, you're going to release the interrupter. See, the reason why I might have issues like that here is because as I'm testing this out and I'm doing it, I don't want to close the bolt on a live round. So I'm just pushing it closed to chamber it, but I'm not picking the round up. You understand? I'm just pushing it in and then releasing and just dumping it out, for the reason of not wanting to chamber a round when I'm not here ready to fire. So I'm pretty sure, actually, if you use this technique in your live firing, once you close the bolt on that round, you will release that second round from the interrupter and you'll be good to go. So shame on me for thinking you had to do another step. You would have to do another step if you were just, for training purposes, just doing this safely by just pushing the round in and not actually chambering it. What releases that interrupter for the next round to come up is actually you turning the bolt down. Not only does that pick up the round, when the Mosin will not pick up a round until you push the bolt close. The round is sitting there, you could push the bolt forward, the bolt comes back, round is just going to stay there, stay up inside there. It's only going to pick up the round when you turn down, and it's doing multiple things when you're turning down. When you're turning the bolt down, you're picking up the round, you're engaging the locking lugs, and you're releasing the interrupter, so the next round in line is now shoved up against the bottom of the bolt. So that when you open, after firing, when you open the bolt, you're recocking, and you're ejecting, and that very next round is going to be ready to go. And the round underneath that is going to be caught underneath the interrupter. You understand? So if you have a rimlock issue, as soon as you're pushing forward, don't worry about necessarily beating up on it. Again, it's really, this hand could just be up on the stock where it's supposed to be. You release, slide down, hold in a semi-open position, and you could practice this to see exactly the spot you would have to hold it at. But with your palm, you just hold it in a semi-open position like this, right? Then you'll be able to chamber. And when you chamber, you shove the magazine closed. Maybe that's what the issue is, actually. Because these Mosins can be complicated. Because maybe if you chamber, then close the magazine, now you have a round underneath the interrupter, and it will not be released because you've already turned the bolt down. So now if you open and eject, you're going to have a round under the interrupter. You're going to have to reclose, reopen to have that round sitting here ready to chamber. So maybe a good practice would be, see Mosin, it seems simple. You got a Mosin, you thought this was simple, right? This isn't simple. I could just see now, like these Russians teaching this in, like, the Russian class, where, these bunch of, like, these guys that were, used to just freaking slinging pitchforks and shit, and now they had to teach them how to use these things. Seems easy. You know, they're like, oh yeah, they just wanted to make it just a basic rifle for just the regular guys so that these peasants could go out and... No. There's nothing simple about any firearm. There's always little things, you know. So, just to reiterate before this is a freaking ongoing video, boy. Wow. But what I'm saying is here, when you're in this position and you're palming open the bottom of the magazine to chamber that round, a good practice would be push the round home, don't pick it up. Just enough, you're releasing the magazine now enough where you can now, no more rim lock, and you can push the round home. Don't close the bolt. Close the magazine well. Then close the bolt. Now you're releasing the next round from the interrupter at that point. That's the procedure. That is the order of things. That is what must be trained like a crazy Russian battle warrior. That has to be ingrained in your head. I'm going to be practicing that at the range. And I hope you will too, because Rimlock's going to mean nothing to you. You know, your friend will be over there struggling, like, I thought I loaded the stripper clip right. I don't know, what do I do? And there's really no way to get that round out. It's the weirdest thing. Most guys, I'm noticing, would just dump. And then that's why I'm going, why dump? Just open it enough to release it. You don't have to dump the rounds. Now I chamber it. Okay, and then just close again. Then pick up the round. That's your move. Enjoy, have fun, and most of all, be safe.